In this epic documentary, we embark on a journey across thousands of years, returning to an age when the sword was law and the thundering echo of battle was the music that shaped civilizations. You will witness how the first warrior was born from fear, struggle, and survival, and how the art of war evolved from crude wooden clubs into formidable armies that reshaped the world. You will discover the stories of the Sumerians, Egyptians, Assyrians, Greeks, Persians, Romans, knights, Japanese samurai, Mongols, Muslim warriors, and every fighter who carved his legend into the stone of time. And before we begin, don't forget to support the channel by subscribing, liking the video, sharing it with others, and leaving a comment telling us which ancient warrior impressed you the most. Now, let the journey begin. At the dawn of civilization, along the banks of the Euphrates River, the first Sumerian cities emerged. And with them came the first warriors in human history. Dust-covered men wielding primitive copper spears and shields made from bull hide stood ready at the city gates. At sunrise, drums echoed through the streets, calling the army to defend their land. Groups of warriors trained in coordinated spear formations, while their commander watched closely, teaching them how to lock their ranks in the moment of attack. A young boy gazed from afar, dreaming of the day he would stand among them. One night, a sudden battle erupted near the riverbank. Two armies clashed in a ferocious storm of metal and screams. Warriors stumbled into the rushing waters as shields collided and spears shattered. Yet with every battle, the Sumerians recorded new lessons, forging humanity's earliest military doctrines. They invented the first metal dagger, inscribed war laws on clay tablets, and elevated their commanders into the world's first organized military leaders. From Mesopotamia, the River of Time carries us to the Nile Valley, where the ancient Egyptians flourished as masters of military design. Their army was not merely a gathering of fighters, it was a disciplined institution built on strategy, knowledge, and order. At dawn, sunlight shimmered off golden bronze helmets worn by soldiers gathered in vast training grounds. Chariots raced across the desert sands, guided by skilled warriors whose archery had to be precise and deadly. Pharaoh Thutmose III oversaw these exercises himself, ensuring that every formation, every strike, and every calculated maneuver served the empire's goals. In the Great Battle of Megiddo, the Egyptians demonstrated tactical brilliance, surrounding the city after studying maps drawn on papyrus scrolls. Soldiers carried sacred amulets of Ra, believing they granted strength and victory. After triumphs, celebrations filled the night with drums, dance, and blazing torches as the army honored their pharaoh. Far to the north, in the rugged lands of Anatolia, the Hittites rose as fierce warriors who revolutionized warfare with their mighty chariots. In their forges, fires roared as blacksmiths hammered iron into powerful weapons. Their chariots were masterpieces of engineering, carrying 3 warriors, a driver, a spearman, and an archer. Before battle, these chariots sped through rigorous trials to test the strength of the horses and the skill of the warriors. When they faced the Egyptians at the monumental Battle of Kadesh, the earth trembled beneath the pounding hooves. Dust filled the air as both sides unleashed volleys of arrows. The Hittites' specially crafted spearheads could pierce Egyptian shields with ease. Though no clear victor emerged, the world witnessed a clash of titans that would influence military strategy for generations. Then came the Assyrians, ushering in a new age of relentless, organized warfare. Their capital, Nineveh, was a city alive with the sound of armies training day and night. Unlike others, the Assyrians mastered iron, not bronze, giving them weapons of unmatched strength. They built towering siege engines, wooden giants pushed toward enemy walls under a storm of arrows. In the shadows of night, their spy units infiltrated enemy territories, mapping weaknesses and gathering intelligence. Every Assyrian soldier underwent years of brutal training, transforming into a cog in the most formidable war machine of the ancient world. Their victories were carved into stone reliefs, depicting scenes of conquest while musicians played battle hymns to lift the spirits of the army. Across the sea, in the mountains of Greece, the legend of Sparta was born. Here, a man lived as a warrior, or did not live at all. A newborn was inspected the moment he entered the world. If weak, he was abandoned to nature. At 7, a Spartan boy entered the Agog, where he learned silence, discipline, endurance, and the art of battle. Warriors trained under the moonlight to sharpen their senses, fighting with wooden shields and drills that forged the famed hoplite phalanx formation. Then came the immortal moment. 300 Spartans standing against thousands of Persians at the pass of Thermopylae. Arrows darkened the sky, yet the Spartans held firm, their shields locking tightly as they fought until their final breath. Their sacrifice became a timeless symbol of courage and unbreakable will. From Greece, we journey to Persia, the vast empire of the Immortals. An elite force of 10,000 soldiers whose numbers never dwindled. Each time one fell, another immediately took his place. Under the watchful eyes of kings like Darius, magnificent military parades displayed incredible discipline and power. Persian archers unleashed storms of arrows before enemies could approach, while defensive trenches and rapid-footed messengers kept their camps protected and informed. Soldiers trained to shoot while running, and the empire stretched across lands knitted together by roads designed for swift communication. Next, we march to Rome, cradle of military genius. The Romans believed discipline outweighed brute strength. In their bustling armories, hammers shaped curved shields and short swords that later defined the Roman legionnaire. Soldiers practiced the famous tortoise formation, raising shields above their heads to form an iron shell impenetrable to arrows. In strategic councils, generals debated tactics over sprawling maps. Rome created the legendary gladius, engineered advanced roads, and developed logistical strategies that allowed armies to march farther and faster than any before. Julius Caesar's campaigns showcased a blend of power and cunning that reshaped the map of Europe. Far to the east, in the islands of Japan, lived the samurai, warriors bound to honor, loyalty, and discipline. In sacred forges, blacksmiths crafted the katana through complex rituals that fused metal with spirit. The blade was folded and hammered thousands of times, becoming an extension of the samurai's soul. Warriors practiced precision strikes on bundles of straw, trained in kenjutsu, and spent hours in meditation to refine their minds. They believed the true battle began within, long before the sword was drawn. The samurai was not merely a fighter, he was a poet, philosopher, and guardian. Then came the storm that swept across the world, the Mongols. Warriors who moved like the wind, unmatched in speed and precision. A Mongol archer could strike a target while riding at full gallop. Each fighter owned several horses, switching between them to maintain speed. Before battles, Genghis Khan stood before his men, his fierce gaze inspiring loyalty and fear. Mongols perfected the tactic of the feigned retreat, pulling enemies into deadly traps. They used psychological warfare, leather armor hardened by fire, and trained their children in horseback riding from the age of 3. Entire empires trembled beneath their thunderous advance. In the Arabian Peninsula, another kind of warrior emerged, one driven by faith, discipline, and purpose. Khalid ibn al-Walid stood atop a desert hill, observing enemy formations with unmatched precision. Then, with a swift command, he orchestrated maneuvers that changed the course of battles like Yarmouk and Qadisiyah. Muslim warriors trained in desert endurance, mounted swift Arabian horses, and mastered strategies of hit-and-run combat. Before battle, leaders sent letters inviting peace before war, and poets recited verses to lift morale. Their campaigns reshaped regions and forged a civilization that left a lasting legacy. Meanwhile, in Europe, the Age of Knights unfolded. Clad in armor weighing over 30 kilograms, mounted on armored steeds, and wielding long double-edged swords, knights trained from childhood. They learned horsemanship, swordplay, and the code of chivalry. Before setting out to war, swords were blessed in sacred rituals. Knights practiced by striking wooden dummies and charging across fields in tournaments. During the Crusades, they clashed fiercely with Muslim armies, and their battles changed the course of East and West alike. As our journey nears its end, the timeline unfolds before us. A Sumerian bronze blade melts and reshapes into an Egyptian sword, then transforms into a Japanese katana, and finally, a Roman gladius, symbolizing the evolution of warfare through the ages. We witness contrasts between Eastern philosophies of calm discipline and Western strategies of formation and force. We observe how wars redrew the world's maps and how the tales of ancient warriors survived through carvings, manuscripts, monuments, and legends. In the end, we realize that the warrior was never defined by his weapon, but by his soul, his courage, discipline, loyalty, and belief in a cause greater than himself. From Sumer to Rome, from Japan to Arabia, from Kadesh to Yarmouk, the warrior remains the force that shaped history, while civilizations stand as enduring testaments to the bravery of those who fought for them.